Hey siblings, thank you so much for watching my videos, for liking and for subscribing. I was so skeptical to start this channel, thinking not even a single person would be interested. So whenever I see just one view, whenever I see 5 views, 10 views and 5 likes, 10 likes, it always makes me so excited that it's at least there are 10 people watching me, at least there are 10 people liking these videos. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Today I am going to talk about why we attract one person in different bodies. Like, have you ever been in a situation where you're constantly saying to yourself, I'm an amazing human being, I am beautiful slash handsome, I am fun to be around, my career is going well, like you excel in every respect in your life, but there's just this one part that says no. Like you'll meet this guy or this lady and you guys go out on dates, and just when you think it's going somewhere, boom, they either ghost you or they tell you it's not you, it's me. Like whenever you try something out, it just doesn't work out. Or you try it out and you realize that this person is exactly like my ex. Like, have you ever dated someone and you feel like this person reminds me of my previous relationship? Have you ever been at that place? So this is why I am doing this video. Usually, like I said in the previous video, how about narcissistic people, how we are raised plays a role on how we hold ourselves going forward. It plays a major role. It could be a negative or positive role, but it does play a role. So if you were raised in a family where you were starved of love and you were starved of attention, or your parents were very emotionally unavailable, especially if the father was emotionally unavailable and you're a lady, you're likely to attract men who are also emotionally available. Like, those men, you can tell, like you keep telling yourself that this person is such a good person, and like they tick all the boxes, but they're just not emotionally available for you. And once you start dating someone who is not emotionally available, you start telling yourself that if you could love them enough, that in itself can change them. And then you realize that the more you give them love, uh, the more uh, the more they take a step back. Like, it's almost as if when you give them, they take a step back. And relationships like that, like you're constantly the one giving. It's like try right now where you're sitting, try and breathe out, don't breathe in, continue breathing out. Notice how exhausting that can be. So a one-sided relationship is like that. You're the one that's constantly giving, so you're the one that's constantly breathing out. Remember, a relationship should be give and take. You give your partner a certain amount of love. So if you give someone more love than they are able to receive, you are only burdening them. So you have to give someone the love that they can receive, and then once they have received the love that you give them, they will be reciprocating the love that you're giving them, so that love can meet at its equilibrium. So when you're constantly giving and giving and giving, it ends up exhausting. But if you are if you are like me, because I used to be like that in the past, where I was constantly the one giving love but not receiving it, and I was constantly asking myself, why is it that I keep attracting the same, like it's different people but same traits, same characteristics, same everything. So if you were raised in a family where you are starved of that love and of of attention, you find yourself falling for people like that because it's what seems familiar. Remember, your brain is wired like that. Your brain is wired to want things that are familiar. That's why you will find yourself saying, this situation, this thing, I know this thing. Sometimes you don't even remember who you experienced it with, and because it's childhood trauma and it wasn't attended to, you constantly wonder, why is this happening? So that's why it's happening. When you were growing up, you were not given enough love at home, so you find yourself attracting people who don't give you enough love. Sometimes you were given the love, but maybe you were raised in a family where the father is very controlling, so you are likely to attract men who are always controlling. And even if you're a man and you were raised in a family like that, you either become that controlling guy, or you become so passive, but you will attract women who are very controlling and women who constantly want to tell you what to do. In certain instances, it's not that the father is controlling, but the mother is very submissive. So the mother does everything. The father always gets away with things, and the mother cannot stand up for herself. So you also grow up like that. You grow up in relationships where you constantly have to be submissive, and your partners don't care about your feelings. And even when you know that this is wrong, but you cannot stand up for yourself, because this is what's familiar for you. So how do you break that? Like, how do you break that habit? Because guys, habits are very hard to break, especially if it's something that you grew up with. You don't just wake up one day and say to yourself, I need to stop. You need to stop, but you don't just stop because you feel the need to stop. It's a process. It's a process that requires a lot of patience. It's a process that requires a lot of understanding and a lot of love from yourself, for you to be at a place where you're like, you know what, I am tired of this, and I don't want to experience this ever again in my life. Sorry, so I want to change it. So how does one go from attracting the same type of person to now attracting better people? First of all, you need to try and find out your pattern. Try and sit down and think about every single relationship that you were in, because in as much as it's the same person in different bodies, not every trait is the same. You will realize that with this person it was your mother's traits, with this person it was your father's traits. Like, it's different traits, but the traits that you experienced as a young person, as a child. So you have to try and figure out what exactly your pattern is. Try and find that out, so that you can be at a place where you're like, oh, so I can see that this is what I have been attracting. So you will be able to know that, you will be able to go from that in the early stages of a relationship. You will, when you're on the talking stage with someone, or whether talking stage or you're past the talking stage and you're together, but you can sense that pattern that usually attract. Once you know what your pattern is, you can be at a place where you're like, okay, no, bye, I'm not going to take this. I can't, because you know that you don't want to experience the same pain that you have been experiencing all along. Another thing, know your attachment style. There's a secure attachment style. With the secure attachment style, it's those people who give healthy love, who welcome healthy love. They're just healthy people. And then there's the anxious attachment style. This one, like, you're constantly you want to be in a relationship, but you're constantly scared that you might get hurt. So in that fear of being hurt, you find yourself sabotaging the relationship, because you're constantly just scared. When this person when your partner is out, you're constantly calling, where are you? You're constantly sending messages, are you coming back? Like, you're just constantly anxious, and in that process, you end up sabotaging the relationship. And people with an attachment people with the anxious attachment style are likely to attract people who are emotionally unavailable. And because this person is emotionally unavailable, when they change on you, you start feeling the need to prove yourself to them, to try and earn for their love, because remember, they are emotionally unavailable. And because your parent was emotionally unavailable, and you always attracted your parents' attention by doing good. So when you grow up, you start finding yourself at a place where you think that doing good will make you good enough. And guys, I like what Viola Davis said when she said that there are no prerequisites for worthiness. You are born worthy. So nothing in this life you can do to make another person feel like, oh, she did this, so she is worthy. It doesn't work like that. You can and if you have noticed, the more you try to earn someone's love, that's when they like, it's like you're pushing them away by trying to earn their love. So you can never really work yourself or love someone into loving you. A person either loves you or they don't. Like, they either love you or they don't. You cannot really work and say, if I do this enough, this person will love me. If I cook enough, they will love me. If I perform well enough in bed, they will love me. They won't do that. Instead, if you meet a cruel person, maybe a narcissist, instead of loving you, after working hard, they will rather use you. So you can never really love someone into loving you. You can never really work so hard for someone to love you. They either love you or they don't. So the anxious attachment style, people with that attachment style, they usually attract emotionally unavailable people. So once you know your attachment style, you can be at a place where you're like, okay, I do not want to be this person anymore, I want to stop. And then the third attachment style is the avoidant attachment style. These are the people who the emotionally unavailable people. They just enjoy being alone. Even when in a relationship, they just don't give you enough attention, they just don't give you enough love. So once you find out what your attachment style is, you can be at a place where you can heal, because now you know what your problem is. You know why you keep attracting these people. So now you can be able to say, okay, you can be at a place where you say, okay, now I am willing to heal. And now, because you know what the problem is, I believe that every problem has a solution. So once you know what the problem is, you can be at a place where you say, I know that this is what is wrong with me, and because I know what is wrong with me, I can work on it and I can fix it. Another thing is to try and stop falling for people that you feel like you need to fix, because especially empaths have this thing of falling for people who need fixing. You constantly want to step in, and there's nothing wrong with helping your partner in any way, but you also know when you've overdone it. So try and make sure that when you're busy talking, people always reveal who they are. Try and make sure that you're very open and you're very observant about what type of person you're involving yourself with. Because if you ignore that part, that's when later in the relationship you realize that you're back to square one and you've attracted the same person you've been attracting again. So try and please stop falling for people who need fixing. And the last thing I want to say is self-healing is a journey. Please be patient with yourself. You're going to stumble and fall along the way. You're going to feel alone most of the time, but please be patient with yourself, and don't lose hope that things will change for you. And I really hope that you attract the love that you deserve. I really hope that you attract the love that won't make you sleep at night wondering why you're not enough. I hope that you find love that's really beautiful, and even if that love comes from you, I hope that you do. I think everyone deserves that. I think we all deserve to be so secure in our life. Have you seen how beautiful people are when they are just loved wholeheartedly, whether the love comes from self or whether the love comes from a partner? Have you seen how people how they glow and how happy they look? So I really wish that for you. I hope that you will find someone who looks at you and say, I have struck gold and I'm not going to risk losing it. I wish you love, and I wish you all the best in your relationships. I love you.